Hey guys, Dr. Drunk aka here with a game for you in my Tier 5 Premium Russian Destroyer, Gremyashchy. We are on Fault Line. It is a Tier 7 game, and I am divvied up with the ever-present Farting Chick in his USS Hill. What do you need to know about the Gremyashchy? The Gremyashchy is a premium Russian DD for it has 4 single mount, 130 millimeter guns, 8 kilometer torpedoes, 6.1 kilometer detection range. More than anything, it is no longer for sale. That's right, this is one of those ships that is apparently too good to sell anymore. I've got her wearing the old school bus camo here because why not? Nothing more embarrassing than getting dunked on by a big yellow school bus. Oh, and we should mention the torpedoes on this one. The torpedoes on the Gremyashchy are not too bad. 2 launchers, 3 tubes per launcher. But that 8 kilometer detection range that 8 kilometer firing range is really, really important. It gives you the ability to stealth torpedo, something that most Russian destroyers don't get until probably tier 8. Is it the Ognavoy that finally gets that? Maybe. It's been a long time since I've gone down that line, so. In any case, we decide we're going to head out. It is a standard battle, so we're going to head out to the left side of the map and see if we can cause some trouble. The enemy team has a Kamikaze R. It'll always be a problem because of his detectability and his fast reloading torpedoes. A Nicholas division, a couple of cruisers that we want to particularly pay attention to, the Zara, and a couple of battleships, which are not really all that noteworthy. So, our RPF points towards the gap in the strait up ahead of us. Of course, the good play is always go out wide. Don't ever push straight through the middle of the strait. Chick manages to spot out the Nicholas. Remember, the Hill is essentially a Farragut at tier 5. So he has a bit of a detectability buff over the Nicholas, but looking at the Nicholas, he's naked, and I don't think he's running Concealment Expert on his captain either. So we put a few shells out. I just saw his name is Extra Chromosome Man. How appropriate as he runs into a rock. Extra Chromosome Man was quite kind to leave us a smoke screen, which will help obscure us from view, at least until we see the enemy Königsberg pop up. We also see his div mate coming over here. And, of course, our New Orleans 200 IQ play, doing exactly what you're not supposed to do. How players like that manage to get to tier 7, I'm not entirely sure. Be that as it may. Kamikaze gets first blood, knocking out our Nicholas on the other side. And it's not looking great on that other side. Our second rack of torps predicted right, and we get the other Nicholas, which heavy, floaty, boaty ass slapper, I think. Wasn't enough to save our New Orleans, though. And now I have a pair of cruisers shooting at me. I don't like this, particularly because that's a Dallas, and Dallas has a lot of nasty guns. So we're going to pop our smoke screen, slam on the brakes, and just chill out here for a minute. Discord Chick says I want to go find out where Extra Chromosome Man is, and Chick does indeed find him. He's been backing up the whole time in his smoke screen, and Chick finishes off his first kill of the game on that tier 5 American destroyer. Now, no vision as to what's going on over here. Chick spots Königsberg, but we don't have any vision. We have no idea what's happening here. Last I know there was 2 battleships in the area, at least. Maybe not here, but in the area. The Ismail shoots, I'm not sure at what, but the Ismail fires and gets himself spotted. Dave's not here, man. I don't know why he's pinging the map for that spot, but he is. Erleone is apparently suiciding. Chick is basically just holding down the gap, looking for using the Farragut smoke to get some torpedoes off on that Pyotr Veliki. Now, pay close attention, guys. I'm overextended. In any real world, any real world scenario, I'm overextended. But I'm talking to Chick over Discord, and I'm going, I wonder if I can pull this off. Like, I wonder if I can pull this off. I might actually be able to pull this off. I might be able to go straight up the one line, kite half of their team with me, and just cause mayhem. I mean, it's possible. It's something I could do. You know what? Fuck it. Let's try it. And we're talking about it going, he's like, dude, you've got 5 guys chasing you. And it's like, yeah, I kind of need to run. I can't smoke. I don't have smoke for another 55 seconds. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to keep rolling up towards the A line. I'll see if I can take these guys with me. Ismail kills the Tsar on the other side. Our Leon somehow managed to survive. My torpedoes are going to miss that Pyotr. But I also have a problem with a Königsberg that is chasing me down. Now, how do they know where I am? Well, number one, they haven't seen me for a while. Number two, they saw torpedoes come from about the C line. So, pretty fair bet that there's a DD up here. And the Königsberg actually starts to turn out, presumably to shoot at my teammate there in the Texas, and comes within a gnat's ass of spotting me out here. I did have smoke just come up, so I would have been fine, but being spotted here would have just been, it would have ruined any positioning that I had at this point. But this is something that you can usually only do at lower tiers. I mean, granted, this is a tier 7 game, but this is generally something you can only do at lower tiers. You don't see many upper tier teams fall for this kind of, as the kamikaze guns down our Omaha. Haha. Very funny. You don't see many high tier teams fall for this kind of thing. You'll very rarely see 4 or 5 ships go chasing a single destroyer. That's just not something that really happens at higher tiers. We land 1 torpedo hit on that Pyotr. We cause a flood. Now, normally, if this was any other circumstance, what would I do? About this point, I would pop my smoke screen, and I would try to farm some fires on that Pyotr. Number one, there's no guarantee that he is spotted by anybody else on my team. Probably spotted by the Texas, but maybe not. So we're going to stay dark, and we're just going to we're just going to drop our torpedoes on cooldown. Now what you see I did there in that case, I dropped 1 rack on the New York. I dropped 1 rack on the Pyotr. We're trying to spread our damage out a little bit. See if we can keep all these guys on their toes and get their attention. Now, as you can see on the other side, we're losing the other side. We're down a ship. We're down 100 points. Our Nuremberg gets himself sunk by the Miyoko. And that leaves an pair of Ismails to deal with a kamikaze Nagato. We got a torpedo hit on the New York and 1 on the Veliki. No flood on the Pyotr, though, which is unfortunate. As I was saying, as a Miyoko, Prince Idol Friedrich, a Nagato, and a kamikaze are against a pair of Ismails in our cap. So the odds are not in our favor. Chick manages to torpedo the Ismail on this side of the map. That evens the odds a little bit. We're still down 100 points. We're still down a ship. However, we're still keeping these 2 battleships out of the game. These 2 tier 5 battleships have been completely invalidated. They've become completely useless for this entire game because they've been chasing a single destroyer, which they're never going to catch. Unless I grossly screw up, unless I absolutely fuck up and do not pay attention to what's around me, there's no way those 2 battleships will ever catch me. So the advantage is 100% mine in this case. 100% mine. Now, I did fire those torpedoes at the Piotr, thinking maybe he would turn back in. He chooses not to turn back in, and now we know the Kamikaze is sitting in our cap, and he's closing to within a few kilometers of the Ismail. That's probably a really bad sign for the Ismail. That's probably going to mean that he's going to die. So we need to try and even the score here a little bit. We're not gaining points as our Ismail goes down to the Kamikaze. We are not gaining points, but now they're not gaining points either. And I'm on Discord and I'm talking to Chick and telling Chick, man, you got to get back. You got to get back there somehow or another. And as he's saying, you know, there's a Dallas in front of me. I can't really deal with that. And all right, well, you got a Texas and a Helena coming back to help you. So you're going to have something coming back to help. But I also spot that Miyoko, which is coming back, and that Miyoko can very easily make it back to his cap in 2 minutes. Now, Miyoko is a very scary prospect that has a lot of guns and a lot of torpedoes. So it's definitely not something that I want to try and solo YOLO. Even though I have about 7 times his hit points, I still don't necessarily want to have to deal with him. Perhaps our battleships can get a lucky shot across the map. Chick takes it upon himself to chunk about 1,200 hit points off that Miyoko before he has to go dark and smoke up. Still, that leaves a very manageable hit point pool for me to deal with. The New York sailing straight lines, of course, because that's what low-tier battleships do. Eats 2 torpedoes, brings our damage total up to 72,000. We smoke up as we fire. We do get spotted, but watch this. We look at the mini-map. We point our cursor where he's going. We know he's coming into the cap. He's going to go straight in. And we knew it only took 1 or 2 shells to get him. And that's how you get a blind fire kill from the mini-map. Now, at this point, I'm basically saying, look, I'm just going to sit here in the smoke. It's a minute and 10. I can actually cap this out. I can actually cap this out by sitting in my smoke and not ever getting spotted. So I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to drop torpedoes on that New York. And I should be able to do this without getting spotted. I don't think that New York gets in fast enough. Prince Idol is taking shots at... What the hell was that? Oh, that's the Dallas. Our cap is 3/4 finished, but we finally made our way back. Now you notice it once again, for the second time in this map, I have pulled, just being in the cap right here, I pulled everybody back. Everybody's back in this cap. We get a torpedo hit and a lucky fire on the New York. He's down to 2K. We're just going to gunfight this out with him. He is shooting AP, thankfully. I mean, even if he wasn't, it's not that big of a deal. New York's armor is nice and squishy, lets me do a lot of work. But you'll see again, I brought 4 ships with me into this cap. So that allowed our team down south to get back to our cap, clean up the mess down there, and give us the ability to win. And we're going to win this. We're absolutely going to win this. Solitary destroyer, pop that damage control very quickly so that we don't get spotted by the Dallas because we're on fire. Remember, being on fire adds about 2K to your detectability, give or take. But it shows the power of a single destroyer, not even necessarily doing damage, but just sitting in the cap and kiting an entire team out of the game. You'll notice the Kamikaze has left our cap. Chick is chasing him along with Helen and the Ismail. The Texas has turned back north. The Britannia has continued to trundle his way up here. So this is guaranteed a win for us unless our team decides to epically throw this, and really not going to happen. As the Dallas takes a torp and a flood. How amusing. I love torpedoing hydro ships that have hydro. I mean, come on, guys. There's a destroyer. You're hunting a destroyer. Why do you not have your hydro going? Really? I mean, lol. In any case, we've conceded the cap. They've conceded our cap. We're up 8 ships to 6. Now it's only time to grab what is rightfully ours. And that, of course, is our Kraken. 3 ships up here. Kraken's on the table. Britannia is doing a little bit of work. He's blinking away at the Prince Idol. Now, if we want a Kraken, we have to figure out how we're going to make this work. We have to think this through really carefully. We've already established that Dallas pretty well knows how to shoot. Not necessarily a fool. I mean, he made a couple of mistakes, but not necessarily a fool. We definitely don't want to look at him now because, number one, we're the one who's spotting him. We can't smoke up. Number two, his guns are looking this exact direction, and that's not a gunfight I want to get into. Even with a little under twice his hit points, I don't really want to deal with that. That's a gunfight that I can't win. Neither of us have a heal, so there's, you know, not a whole lot that either of us can do here. Of course, I can sit at range and drop torpedoes on him for the rest of the game, but, you know, we want our Kraken. That's our Kraken, and we want to take it. Dallas's guns are pointing the opposite direction. He's looking at the Britannia and the Texas. We're going to start opening fire with our AP, because the AP on Russian boats is pretty solid. He is angled away towards auto-bounce angles, and he is shattering some of those, but we're getting enough good damage. We can probably handle this. The Britannia dunks him for about 4K, and we finish the job, giving us our 4th kill. Now, we're still spotted by the Nagato. Now, my concern, of course, is the Nagato is shooting HE. Can he basically obliterate me with one shot? And I'm talking to Chick, and I'm going, man, that Prince Idol's the only thing left alive. We've got 3 battleships left alive. Chick's still alive. You know, really all he has to do at this point is run away. So this one's up to me. I look and say, look, I've got 4 kills. I've got 4 kills. I got 99,000 damage. I've got a tier 7 battleship sitting in front of me. He's probably shooting HE. You know what? What the hell? Let's go for it. Let's see if we can rush this guy down. Swing the ass around. He only gets a couple of shells landed, and he breaks my rear turret and my steering. Of course, I have last stand. I'm not going to repair either one of those because, let's be perfectly honest, I want that repair available in case he knocks out my torpedo tubes. Look at his health. I don't have the torpedo alpha with 1 set of tubes to kill this guy. That's why I'm holding my repair just in case. In this case, he sets me on fire. Does not knock out the torpedo tubes. I know that's his main battery. First set of tubes is out. Of course, we want to make sure that we get the second set out. That's going to guarantee a kill. Confederate high caliber comes in. His secondaries finish me off as we land a torp on his nose for our 5th kill, our Kraken, and our 12th torpedo hit of the game. 137,947 points of damage. That Prince Idol Friedrich's going to go down pretty soon, but this is actually a really perfect example of how just playing your instincts and maybe you're not even doing damage. Maybe you're not even using your guns, but just playing your instincts and kiting a team away from an objective can be just as effective as doing a bucket load of damage. Of course, you know, 138,000 points of damage and 5 kills doesn't hurt either. But nonetheless, taking 5 ships out of the game for 5 or 6 minutes does definitely help your team, you know, clean up the mess on the other side. As I said, 5 kills, 138,000 points of damage. That's good enough for top of the team. 2,300 base XP in bottom tier in a tier 7 game. Guys, we play all of these games live on the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/DrDrunk, aka. Go ahead and check us out. Don't forget to drop a like and a follow. Helps the channel very, very much. And I will see all of you guys again real soon.